So hello, good afternoon guys. We are now on our next chapter in the GA5, chapter 3, Design, Technology and the Nation Building. So same as yesterday, so I will share screen my PowerPoint slide to you, my discussion. So yesterday we discussed about chapter 2 or the intellectual revolution. So we have here the three important intellectual revolutions or the brilliant ideas during the ancient times. We have here that Nicholas Copernicus, Charles Darwin, and then Sigmund Freud. So I mispronounced the surname of Freud yesterday, so I mentioned it was Freud, but it would be Freud. So on the Copernican revolution, or according to Nicholas Copernicus, so as what I've mentioned yesterday, so he made the heliocentric system or the heliocentric model or the sun-centered solar system. That is um, comparison to Claudius Ptolemy, who was the geocentric system or the Earth-centered model. So because um, Claudius Ptolemy is well-known Greek philosopher, so that was mentioned. So most philosophers are religious, so they mentioned it that Earth was the center of the universe because it was stated also in the Bible. And then so that was because Copernicus who contributed on the heliocentric model, so the sun-centered model. And then second one was Charles Darwin. So he published the book of the origin of the species and also mentioned the theory of evolution, which posited that population passed through the process of natural selection in which only the fittest would survive. So the familiar quote with you, the survival of the fittest. So in every organism, so for them to survive in that, or they could adapt on that environment, so that particular organism would survive. And lastly, so Sigmund Freud would be the is most popular in the field of psychology. So this field of the psychology was always classified under also the philosophy. So was able to change people's perception of the psychology with his evolutionary theory of the psychoanalysis. So when we say psychoanalysis, is a study that explains the human behavior. He also argued that our personality is a product of the three conflicting elements. So these are the id, the ego, and the superego. So when we say id, so that is the selfish and needy or our pleasure principle. And then the ego would be our reality principle that would be in between sa id and superego. While the superego focuses on our conscience. So we are now on our chapter 3, the science, technology, and the nation building. So the development of science and technology in the Philippines has already come a long way. Many significant inventions and discoveries that was mentioned from the chapter 1, those Philippine inventions, such as the amphibious tricycle, the larvicidal trap system, the medical incubator, the e-jeepney, have been accomplished by or attributed among Filipinos. This chapter tackles how the development of science and technology affect the development of the Philippines as a nation. So you have here the three periods during this development. So the first one is the pre-colonial period. So the scientific and technological development in the Philippines began in the pre-colonial period. So even before the Spaniards came to the Philippine Islands, early Filipino settlers were already using certain plants and herbs as their medicine. So those mga herbal plants or herbal medicinal plants could also be used for eat para makatambal or that would conserve their lives, our lives sa mga Filipinos. So the systems of farming and animal raising were also implemented. So that is farming, so sa farm and animal raising that is focuses on the agriculture. Moreover, early Filipinos had also developed the different modes of transportation, whether it is in the land, terrestrial, or in the maritime or by the seas. So a complicated engineering feat was achieved by the natives of the Cordilleras when they built the rice terraces by the hand. So this is one of the development on the pre-colonial period. So when we say pre, so that happens, or this is before the Spaniards came here in our country. So though these terraces, the people were able to cultivate the crops on the mountain sides in cold temperatures. And they also incorporated an irrigation system. So diba, from the ancient times, so those are, for example, tong irrigation and dikes, to mga water mill, was also inspired on this um, engineering. So that uses, so the water from the forest and the mountain tops to achieve an elaborate farming system. So these rice terraces of the Cordillera, which are still functional, show the innovative and ingenious way of the natives to survive in an otherwise unfriendly environment. So that is the main contribution during the pre-colonial period. So the complicated engineering, so that is man-made, that was mentioned by among the Cordilleras rice terraces. The second one would be the colonial period. So colonization by the Spaniards provided the Philippines with modern means of construction. So the walls, the roads, the bridges, and other large infrastructures were built using some of the engineering skills and tools brought by also the Spaniards. In addition, the Spanish government developed the health and the education systems that were enjoyed by the Principalia class. So there is a good impact, or there is a good relationship between the Spanish and then the Filipinos. And then on the next, so the American occupation modernized almost all aspects of life in the Philippines. They established a government agency, so the Bureau of Science, for the sole purpose of nurturing development in the field of science and the technology. So it is when American came here that they modernized almost all aspects of life, which is commonly known as the DOSC, or the Department of Science and Technology. And then lastly, after the pre-colonial period, and then the colonial period, so we have also here the post-colonial period, after the Spaniards and American are left from our country. So after achieving independence from the colonizers, to the Philippines under different administrations continued to pursue programs in the science and technology. Each leadership had its own science and technology agenda. However, it is important to note that some Philippine presidents posted more developments in the field than the others. So one of the presidents who ushered in advancements in the science and technology was our former president and dictator. So as you can see from the picture, it was President Ferdinand Marcos. So diba, during at this time, um, the science technology programs are well established, and also President Marcos has a longer span of being the president of the Philippines of almost 20 years or 21 years. So during his time, so the science and technology are pushed more programs in his term. And also under his term, many agencies in the science and technology were established and strengthened, including the PAG-ASA or the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration in the place of the abolished of our Weather Bureau. So they are the one or they're working on our weather system here in our country. And also the NAST, or the National Academy of Science and Technology, and the reconstituted National Science and Technology Authority that was originally established in 1958 as the National and Development Board, and now the Department of Science and Technology, among others. So President Marcos saw that the key to a nation building is the continued development of science and technology. So the progress in the science and technology continued even after his dictatorial rule, and the presidents after him left their own legacies in the field. As you all know, diba, science and technology programs are very important. Most importantly, under our current situation in this pandemic. So there is a bill that was written by the officials from the DOST that they would try to really focus on the Department of Virology, diba? So when we say virology, it's a study of the viruses because as we all know, on our situation, current situation, that this COVID-19 would really have a big impact in our country, not just in industries, so closing those businesses, some companies, the education of our students are also prolonged because of this situation, and there are some unemployment situation that we are facing today that we're also experiencing in the global countries. So here, the pag-asa, di ba? So they are the one who works on the weather system, our weather situation in our country. So they were the one who would look on our health, climate crisis. Also, if there would be a typhoon here or a flood that were coming in which part of our country, and also the National Academy of Future Scientists and Technologists was during the post-colonial period. So I think that's a wrap for our chapter 3. So for more information or clarifications, you may comment it below on this post on the Google Classroom and prepare for a 10-item quiz also on the Google Classroom. So that would be all. Thank you, and thank you for listening. Have a good day.